Hi, this is Ambili. Welcome to my yoga YouTube channel. As you all know, practicing yoga regularly helps improving your physical, mental and spiritual health. Here I have made an attempt to combine some 15 yoga asanas which will help transform your body and brings about positive changes in your vital body functions. Actually, it was a difficult task and it was a daring attempt to handpick a few yoga asanas from the vast world of complex and intricate yoga asanas. But still, I have made an attempt and picked a few asanas which I felt will keep obesity under check, improve your vital body function and also helps relieving stress. We'll get into it one by one. So please do subscribe to my yoga YouTube channel for more informative and elaborate yoga videos. So here we go. Adho Mukha Svanasana or downward dog pose. This yoga asana energizes and rejuvenates your entire body. It deeply stretches your hamstrings, calf muscles, spine, shoulders and hands, thereby bringing about muscular flexibility and strengthening to the entire body. Let's see how it is done. This is Adho Mukha Svanasana or downward dog pose. Dandasana or the plank pose. This particular yoga asana has several benefits. Certain benefits are it strengthens your core, it relieves back pain, it improves your muscle definition, it boosts your metabolism, it gives you an erect posture, etc. Let's see how this particular asana is done. There are two forms of Dandasana, a high plank and a low plank. So let me demonstrate both. High plank. This is a high plank. Let's see how low plank is done. This is a low plank. Purvottanasana or the upward plank pose. This particular yoga asana gives a deep stretch to your thorax, wrist, arms and legs. And this brings about a great muscular strengthening of your entire arms and entire legs. So let's see how this particular asana is done. Toes touching, palms on the side of your body, point your toes downwards and start lifting your body. Drop your neck. Upward plank pose or Purvottanasana. Virabhadrasana or the warrior pose. This yoga asana opens your chest and lungs, bringing about good respiration. Also, it gives stretch to the entire body from head to toe, thereby bringing about good blood circulation also. So this particular yoga asana encourages both good respiration as well as good blood circulation. There are 3 variants of this asana. Let's see how each variants are performed. So let's get into the first variant of Virabhadrasana. In this asana, both your feet are firmly planted on the ground and slowly start bending your front feet without lifting the back feet. So bring it at an angle of 90 degrees from the knee. Now slowly start placing your hands. Look up. First variant. So let's get into the second variant of Virabhadrasana. Here also both the feet are firmly planted on the ground. Now start bending your front foot and also stretch your back foot to the maximum possible without changing the position of the toes. So now the front foot is brought at an angle of 90 degrees to the ground and back foot is maximum stretch. Start lifting your hands. Variant 2. So let's get into the third variant of Virabhadrasana. For that, first you need to get into the first variant, bending your front foot at an angle of 90 degrees. But the difference is the back feet will be on your toes. Back feet is stretched maximum on your toes and your front foot is bent at an angle of 90 degrees to the ground. Now, slowly try to lift the back foot. Come back to the first variant and relax. This is the third variant. Hi! So in today's video, we have tried 4 asanas. The first one was Adho Mukh Svanasana or the downward dog pose. The second one was Dandasana or the plank pose. In that we have tried a high plank and a low plank. The third asana was Purvottanasana or the upward plank position. The fourth asana was Virabhadrasana. In Virabhadrasana, we tried 3 variants. So that is all for this video. Now I will be adding the remaining asanas in the subsequent videos. So it's me, Ambili, signing off for today. Bye. Have a good day. Live healthy. Stay good. Bye. Welcome back to my yoga YouTube channel. I'm Ambili Menon. Please do view, subscribe and press the bell icon of this channel for easy to do and informative yoga videos. Today we'll continue with the series of 15 yoga asanas which can bring about dramatic changes in your mental and physical health. So here we go. Bhujangasana or the cobra pose. This asana gives good stretch to your chest, lungs, abdomen and shoulders. Performing this asana opens your chest and lungs and it is said to be therapeutic for asthma. Bhujangasana or the cobra pose. Sarvangasana or shoulder stand is a powerhouse of a pose. And since it is anti-gravity, it increases the blood circulation to the brain tremendously. Also, it opens your neck and shoulders and brings about strengthening of arm, leg, core and ab muscles. Let's do the Sarvangasana or the shoulder stem. Naukasana or the boat pose. This asana helps reducing the belly fat. It helps in strengthening the abdominal and core muscles, and hence it is an ideal asana for developing six-pack abs. It also helps in regulating the process of digestion. Let's see the Naukasana or the boat pose. Dhanurasana or the bow pose. This asana is said to be good for weight loss as it improves digestion and appetite. It gives flexibility to the back and strengthens your back muscles too. Dhanurasana or the bow pose. Paschimottanasana or seated forward bend asana. This particular asana gives a deep stretch to your shoulders, spine and hamstrings. It is also said to calm your brain and relieve stress. It also brings about soothing of mild headache and menstrual discomfort. Paschimottanasana or the seated forward bend pose. Sedubandhasana or the bridge pose. This particular yoga asana gives a deep stretch to your spine, neck and shoulders. This asana is also said to have a calming effect on your brain and helps reduces mild depression and mild stress. Sedubandhasana or the bridge pose. Hi, welcome to my yoga YouTube channel. This is the last in the series of 15 asanas which can transform your body. Today we will be practicing 5 standing asanas. These are primarily meant to improve the strength and stability of your upper limb as well as the lower limbs. Also, it helps in bringing about postural correction and improving balance of your body. So let's get going. We'll start with the Vrikshasana or the tree pose. This is primarily a balancing asana. It helps in improving the concentration and focusing power. Also, it helps in improving the postural balance of our body. Performing this asana gives a good stretch to your lower limb, upper limb, spine as well as the vertebral column. So let's see how to perform this particular asana. Stand erect without bending your knees. Then slowly you need to lift your right leg and place it on your upper left thighs. Slowly bring your hands to a namaste position right in front of your chest. Maintain the asana. Be careful to stretch your thighs back as much as possible. Maintain the asana. And depending on your balancing ability, you can lift your hands and bring it to a high namaste pose. Maintain the asana. Come back to the lower namaste pose. Bring your foot down and relax. We'll repeat Vrikshasana or the tree pose on the left side. Lift your left leg and place it on your upper right thigh. While doing so, you should be careful that the knee should not be projected to the front. It should be stretched back as much as possible. Now, bring your hands to Namaste pose. Bring it to a high Namaste. Maintain the asana. Relax. Natarajasana or the Lord of the Dance pose. This is also primarily a balancing asana. It also helps to increase the concentration and attention skills of a person. This pose is derived from the Indian classical dance Bharatanatyam. So let's see how this particular asana is done. I'll be demonstrating Konasana or the angle pose. Kona is a Sanskrit word, the meaning of which is angle. So here we are bending our body at a particular angle so as to give maximum stretch to our oblique muscles. So this is a good asana for the strengthening of the spinal cord as well as the vertebral column. So let's see how this particular asana is done. Lift your hands up, intertwine your fingers, and then stretch towards the right side. Take care that both your hands should not leave your ears. It should be both covering your both the ears. You can feel a very good stretch to your oblique muscles. As you are bending towards the right, you can feel the stretch at your left side oblique muscles. Come back. The same asana can be repeated on the left side too. Stretch towards the left side without detaching your hands from the sides of the ears. The hands should cover both your ears. Bending towards the left side, gives a good stretch to your right side oblique muscles. This is one variant of Konasana. Let's get into the second variant of Konasana. Keep your feet apart. Place your right hand on your right thighs. Lift your left hand. Bring it close to your ears, covering your ears. Then stretch towards the right side while moving your hands from the thighs to the calf. Come back and relax. The asana can be repeated to the left side also. Bring your right hand close to the ears. Cover your ears. Start stretching towards the left side. The hands sliding from your thighs to the calf. You can feel a good stretch on your right oblique muscles. Come back and relax. Kati Chakrasana or standing twisted spine pose. In this particular asana, we are rotating your waist and moving in a circular pattern. By performing this asana, it opens up your vertebral column and spine and gives a good stretch to your upper body. Let's see how this particular asana is done. Stretch both your hands forward, feet together. Now start twisting your body towards the right side. While doing so, be careful that your legs are intact and the legs are not moving. It's only the upper body which is moving. Twist, twist. Put your left hand under your right shoulder. Continue twisting. And now bring your right hand behind your waist. Twist. Look backwards. It is giving an excellent strength to your upper body. Good stretching to your upper body. Come back. And relax. Now we'll repeat the asana to the left side. Stretch both your hands forward. Now start twisting your body towards the left side, and while doing so, be careful that you are not moving your legs. The legs are at a fixed position. It's only the upper body which is moving. Stretch, stretch. Now bring your right hand below the left shoulder. Continue twisting, and now bring your left hand above the waist. Twist, maintain the asana. It's giving an excellent stretch to your upper body. Come back to the normal position and relax. The last asana for the day is Utkadasana or the chair pose. This particular asana is performed as if we are sitting in an imaginary chair, and this asana brings about a good stretch to your hips, thighs, angle, and also the upper part of the body. Let's see how this asana is done. First, lift your heels. Bring your hand to the high Namaste pose. Now, slowly start bending your knees and go downward. Bend your knees, go down, down, down. You are in a position as if you are sitting in an imaginary chair, and it is giving an excellent stretch to your thighs, calf muscles, angle, spine and upper body. It's altogether a good stretch. Maintain the asana. Come back and relax. I'm concluding the series of 15 yoga asanas which can transform your body. Please do view, like and subscribe to my yoga YouTube channel. Be healthy, stay safe from coronavirus, have a safe day, and it's Ambali signing off. Bye-bye. Hi. In the wake of the highly infectious and highly contagious COVID-19, the entire world had come to a standstill. Under such circumstances, it is always advisable to be within the safe confines of your home. You can do your daily workouts within the four walls of your home. By doing so, you are not only breaking the chain of the contagious virus spread, but also you are improving the immune system of your body. I have got a lot of requests from my friends to do a complete home video on a yoga workout. I have compiled a module comprising of 5 categories. First one is the warm-up. Second, a set of standing asanas. Third, a set of sitting asanas. Fourth, a set of lie-down asanas. And fifth, some cooling exercises and pranayams. So let's get into it one by one. Follow me. We'll start with a little bit of warm-up, starting from the upper part of the body towards the lower half of the body. So, neck rotation. Neck twist. Neck bend. A little bit of shoulder rotation from front to back. Back to front. Arm stretch. Wrist rotation, clockwise, anti-clockwise. Finger open, close. This is to be followed by side stretching towards the right, left, repeat. The side stretching basically loosens your mid-body, the thorax part. Come back and relax. Now we'll do some warm-up for the lower part of the body. Tightening of the knee muscles. Tighten. Knee is pressed towards the ground firmly. Tighten, loosen. Tighten your knee muscles, loosen. Tighten it, loosen. Followed by ankle rotation. Clockwise, anti-clockwise. Pointing and flexing your fingers. Point, flex. Point, flex. Point, flex. After the individual warm-ups, now we'll go for a full body prep by doing 2 sets of Surya Namaskar at a stretch. One, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now we'll directly get into the standing asanas. We'll start with Tadasana. Come down, relax, repeat. Come down and relax. Next is Konasana or the angle pose. Come back towards the left side. Come back. Relax. Repeat. Relax. We'll get into the second variant of Konasana towards the right side. Towards the left. Relax. Repeat. Come back. Relax. Next we'll do extended hand to big toe pose, Utthita Padangushtasana.
Relax. Left leg. Relax.
Next is Vrikshasana or the tree pose. Left side. left side. We'll do Virbhadrasana or the warrior pose as the next technique. Towards the left. Relax. Repeat. Left. Relax. Next in our list of standing asanas is extended sideward bend pose or Parshva Konasana. Come back. Repeat to the left. Come back. Relax. Repeat. Come back. Left side. We'll start with a category of sitting asanas. First, we'll do Paschimottanasana or the seated forward bend pose. Relax. Repeat. Relax. Naukasana or the boat pose. Repeat. Relax. We practice some alternate toe touch. Some more sitting and twisting exercises. Stretch both your legs. Bend your right leg. Sit erect, shoulder in one line. Now twist towards the right. Put your palms on your knees. Start bending. Touch your forehead on your knees. Come back. Repeat the bending. Come back. You can repeat the same, twisting towards the left side. Bend your left leg. Sit erect, shoulder in one line. Now bend towards your left. Palms on your knees. Start bending. And touch your forehead on your knees. Inhale and come back. Repeat. Come back. Next in our series of sitting asanas is Ushtrasana or the camel pose. Come back and relax. Repeat. Relax. Now we'll do the cat and cow pose. Cat. Cow. Cat. Cow. Purvottanasana or the upward plank pose. Relax. Repeat. Relax. Next sitting asana is Pavan Muktasana or wind relieving pose. Relax. Repeat. We'll start our lie down asanas with Yastikasana or the stick pose. Here we are stretching the toes maximum towards the ground and stretching your hands maximum upwards. We are stretching the whole body to its maximum length. Pointing your toes downwards, stretching your hands upwards. Relax your toes. Come back. Repeat. Relax. From Yastikasana, we'll perform Sedubandhasana or the bridge pose. Relax. Repeat. Come back. We'll do some leg raises. Hands under your hips. From ground level to 20 degree. 1, 2, 3. From 20 degree to 60 degree. 1, 2, 3. From 60 degree to 90 degree. 1, 2, 3. From 90 degree to ground level. 1, 2, 3. Some more lie down asanas. Lift your legs. Hold your angle. Bring it close to your head. Come back. Repeat. Relax. Now hold your fingers. Relax. Repeat. Relax. We'll perform the plank pose or Dandasana. Repeat. Relax. We'll do a side plank as part of our lie down asanas. Come back. Relax. We'll do the plank on the other side. Come back and relax. Some more side facing leg raises and bends. 1, down, 2, down, 3, down, 4, down. Now the bends, shoulder, stretch, chest, stretch, shoulder, stretch, chest, stretch, shoulder, stretch, chest, stretch. Relax. Towards the other side, leg raise. 1, down, 2, down, 3, down, 4, down. Shoulder, stretch, chest, stretch, shoulder, stretch, chest, stretch, shoulder, stretch, and chest, stretch. Relax. To wind up the lie down asanas, we can do a relaxing Sarvangasana followed by a slow Halasana. But there is a word of caution. Beginners, please don't attempt these two asanas. I'll do a separate video on how to do Sarvangasana and Halasana to the beginners. This needs to be attempted only by trained people as well as hardcore workout buffs. Beginners, please don't attempt Sarvangasana or Halasana without practicing and perfecting it. I'll do another video on how to do Sarvangasana and Halasana for the beginners. Until then, please don't practice it as a relaxing pose. Instead, we can use Shashangasana also as a perfect relaxing pose. Now we'll cool down using some cooling pranayams. You can inhale through your nostrils and exhale through your mouth. While inhaling, you are expanding your stomach, and while exhaling, you will be contracting your stomach. Now we'll practice Anulom Vilom. In Anulom Vilom, you are first inhaling through your left nostril and exhaling through your right. Then you are inhaling through your right and exhaling through your left nostril. Lie down in Shavasana and relax with feet up on the wall. I'm sure that was an interesting workout. I'm expecting your feedback and suggestions for improvement. Kindly subscribe to my channel, view, like and follow the videos. So it's Amli signing off. Be with me today for practicing some breathing exercises or pranayams. Pranayama is a Sanskrit word. Prana means breath and ayama means the process of controlling. So pranayama is basically control of the breath. Daily pranayama trains the lungs to breathe in a proper way, which also increases the respiratory capacity of the lungs. Pranayama is also positively associated with the autonomous nervous system of the body, thereby improving the vital functions of the body like blood circulation, heart rate, etc. The ideal time for doing pranayam is early morning, first thing in the morning, but it may not be practical for many of us. So you can choose any time of the day, 3 to 4 hours after the meals, and try to continue the same time every day. If you are clubbing pranayams with yogasanas, then pranayam has to be done after finishing all the yogasanas. Once the pranayama is completed, there should not be any rigorous physical activities. Ideal duration of doing pranayam is 15 to 20 minutes. But if you have more time, then it can extend up to 30 to 45 minutes also. There are certain basics which are to be taken care while doing pranayams. Let me brief them one by one for the benefit of the beginners. First is the use of fingers for controlling the inhalation and exhalation. It is always the right hand which is used for performing pranayama. Thumb of the right hand is used to control the inhalation and exhalation through the right nostril. The index finger and middle finger has to be touching on the forehead, and the ring finger is to control the inflow and outflow of air through the left nostril. So the position will be like this. This or another position of the fingers is the index finger and the middle finger can be folded and touching below the thumb. So the position will be like this. The right thumb to control the inflow and outflow through the right nostril, ring finger to control the inflow and outflow through the right nostril, and the index finger and middle finger are folded and kept below the thumb. This position is also recommended. So I have been practicing with this position. So I'll be using this position throughout the entire breathing. Not to press the nostrils too much. That is not required. Just put sufficient pressure to the nostrils, which is enough to control the inflow and outflow of air. Just a little bit of pressure is required, not to press it too hard. While the right hand and its fingers are used for performing pranayama, the left hand should be kept in Dhyan Mudra. Dhyan Mudra is this. The index finger and the thumb are held in this way. So this is Dhyan Mudra, and the left hand should be placed on your thighs in Dhyan Mudra, and right hand should be used for performing the pranayams. While doing pranayam, there need not be too much noise of inhalation and exhalation, and also there should not be too much of body movements while you are inhaling and exhaling. It should be a normal process. Your back has to be upright. It should not be slouching like this. The spine has to be held upright. You can either take support of the wall, press your back against a wall, or you can sit without support also. In either case, your backbone has to be kept upright. Now coming to the sitting postures. You can either sit in Sukhasana, which is a relaxed pose. Sit in Sukhasana with backbone upright. Or you can sit in Padmasana or the lotus pose with back upright. Or you have to sit in Vajrasana like this. This is Vajrasana with backbone upright. So either of these three postures can be adapted for using pranayama. Another thing which has to be taken care while doing breathing exercises is the movement of stomach. While you are inhaling, you are blowing maximum oxygen inside. Blow out your stomach so as to accommodate maximum air inside your body. Stomach is blown out to the maximum during inhalation. And it is the reverse process by exhalation. You are pushing out maximum carbon dioxide from your body, and your stomach is tucked inwards to expel maximum carbon dioxide from your system. Stomach is pressed towards the navel to the maximum possible, and carbon dioxide is expelled. This will be the position. Let's come to the first of our pranayams. First one is Chandrabhedak pranayam. According to yoga, the left nostril represents the Chandra Nadi, and Chandrabhedak pranayam performed gives a cooling effect to the body. In Chandrabhedak pranayam, all the inhalations are through your left nostril and the exhalations through the right nostril. Always that pattern has to be maintained. Inhalation through the left and exhalation through the right. Since it gives a cooling effect to the body, Chandrabhedak pranayam is advisable during summer months. It also reduces body heat related disturbances like acidity, heartburn, excessive sweating, high blood pressure, etc. Thus, a word of caution. This pranayam should not be performed if the person is suffering from cold and cough, and also if the person is having low BP. Chandrabhedak pranayam. For that, the right nostril has to be closed with your thumb, index finger and middle finger on the forehead. Inhale through your left nostril, blow out your stomach. Close the left nostril with your ring finger. Now release your right nostril and exhale. Now close your right nostril. Open your left nostril and inhale. Close the left nostril. Exhale through your right. Inhale through left. Close. Exhale through right. Suryabhedak pranayam is just the reverse of Chandrabhedak pranayam. According to yoga, the right nostril depicts the Surya Nadi. In Suryabhedak pranayam, all the inhalations are through your right nostril and exhalations are through the left nostril, the reverse of Chandrabhedak pranayam. Suryabhedak pranayam increases the body heat, thereby improves the metabolism and digestive processes. This also helps in relieving constipation related problems. A word of caution, this should not be performed by people who are having diseases, body heat related diseases like high blood pressure, heart diseases, etc. Let's see how to do Suryabhedak pranayam. Here, the first inhalation is through the right nostril. So, the left nostril need to be kept closed with your index finger and do the first inhalation through the right nostril and blow out your stomach. Close your right nostril. Open the left nostril and exhale. Now close the left nostril. Open the right nostril and inhale. Close the right nostril. Come to the left nostril, open it and exhale. Close the left nostril. Repeat the process. Inhale through the right. Exhale through the left. Next we will do Anulom Vilom, the most widely used pranayam. Here we are using both the right nostril as well as the left nostril. So it provides equal supply of oxygen to the right side of the brain as well as the left side of the brain. This is considered as the safest of the pranayams, and it can be done any time of the day, any season of the year. Only thing is it has to be performed after 4 to 5 hours of taking food. Let's see how this is done. Here, since we are using both the nostrils, we are balancing both the Surya Nadi and Chandra Nadi and maintaining the body temperature. So we are starting with the left nostril. Inhalation through the left nostril, exhalation through the right. Again, inhalation through the right and exhalation through the left. Take the position for Anulom Vilom. Thumb used to close the right nostril, index finger and middle finger on the forehead, and the ring finger is used to manage the left nostril. So first inhalation is through the left nostril. Open the left nostril and inhale, blow out your stomach. the left nostril, open the right nostril, inhale and suck in your stomach. After the entire air is blown out, again inhale through the right. Blow out your stomach. Close the right nostril. Open the left nostril and exhale and flatten your stomach. Now, after the entire air is blown out, inhale through the left. Close the left nostril. Open the right and exhale and flatten your stomach. So like this, both the nostrils are used in Anulom Vilom. To conclude, let me give a ready reckoner of all the pranayams which we have done today. Chandrabhedak pranayam, inhalation through left and exhalation through right. Surya Bhedak pranayam, inhalation through right and exhalation through left. Anulom Vilom, wherein both the nostrils are used for inhalation and exhalation simultaneously. That's all for today's session. We'll come back with more informative and interesting yoga videos. Please do subscribe my channel, view the videos, like and follow them. Till we meet again, stay safe. Bye. Kapalbhati pranayam is an effective pranayam for improving blood circulation and digestive processes. It also helps improving the function of liver and kidney, thereby effectively eliminating waste and toxins from the body. It also adds a glow to your face. A word of caution, a big word of caution. This pranayam should not be attempted by heart patients. Here, since we are exhaling forcibly, we are exerting a lot of pressure on the abdominal and chest muscles, which may prove harmful to the heart patients. So, heart patients and high BP patients, please don't attempt Kapalbhati pranayam. In Kapalbhati pranayam, exhalation is an active process and inhalation is a passive process, which means in Kapalbhati we are exhaling forcibly by contracting the stomach muscles, whereas inhalation is a normal passive process. Exhalation is active. Here you can listen. The sound of only exhalation is audible because inhalation is a noiseless process and is passive. Exhalation is a dominant and audible process. Stomach muscles are basically involved in this, and to some extent the chest muscles are also involved. Bhasrika also, just like Kapalbhati, it enhances the digestive process. It also ups the metabolic rate and it effectively eliminates waste and toxins from the body. Here also a word of caution, just like Kapalbhati, Bhasrika also should not be attempted by heart patients, patients with high BP, patients with low stamina and weak body. They should not attempt Bhasrika because since the breathing in and breathing out are active processes, the stomach muscles and chest muscles are actively involved. You can listen the sound of both inhalation and exhalation, wherein the chest muscles and the stomach muscles are involved. There is another way of doing Bhasrika too, which will be useful for beginners because there will not be too much of confusion between inhalation and exhalation. Inhale, blow out your stomach and raise your hands up. Exhale, tuck your stomach inside, bring your hands down. These things has to be taken care. So inhale, blow out your stomach, raise your hands. Exhale, bring down your hands and pull your stomach inside. Repeat the process. This method could be followed till you get the rhythm and be able to do Bhasrika effortlessly like this. In Kapalbhati and Bhasrika, there will be more of bodily movements and more of noise because you are forcibly inhaling and exhaling in both these pranayams, and it is acceptable. In Kapalbhati and Bhasrika, the fingers are not used for controlling the movement of air through the nostrils. It is just the movement of the chest muscles and the stomach muscles. So both the hands should be kept in Dhyan Mudra above the knees while you are doing Kapalbhati and Bhasrika. Bhramari pranayam is basically a cooling down pranayam. Since we are keeping our eyes and ears closed and producing a humming sound, it automatically calms your body and mind and relieves mild headache and migraine problems also. So basically it is a calming and soothing pranayam, and as such there are no contradictions to Bhramari pranayam. Only thing is you should not exert too much pressure to the ears with the fingers while performing this pranayam. We are using both the thumbs to close the ears and the rest of the fingers are used to hold the head. Inhale and blow out your stomach, and while exhaling you have to produce a humming sound and flatten the stomach. Inhale and blow out your stomach. Exhale with a humming sound. To conclude, let me give a ready reckoner of all the pranayams which we have done today. Kapalbhati pranayam, wherein exhalation is a forcible, active process. Next is Bhasrika, wherein both inhalation and exhalation are active processes. Or last is Bhramari pranayam, wherein exhalation is done with a humming sound. That's all for today's session. We'll come back with more informative and interesting yoga videos. Please do subscribe my channel, view the videos, like and follow them. Till we meet again, stay safe. Bye.